Hey, how's it going, guys? I've had this RCA Delta Pro for about a few weeks to a month now, and one major problem, and this is one of the reasons why I'm returning it, is that when I move the latch or when I move the tablet down or it's back up or try to adjust it sometimes, the keyboard tends to disconnect here. The problem was happening just a moment ago. I don't know why it's not. Well, it's good that it's not, but oh, there we go. There it's happening. So when this comes up, that means it's disconnected from the keyboard, the physical keyboard here. And it's not that I'm pushing it far back or anything. You see this is at a regular level and it's not connected anymore for some reason. So I don't know why that's happening. It might just be my unit. I have a bad unit here maybe. So this is one reason why I'm returning it. One of the main reasons. The other thing about the latch here, it's that when I'm viewing it from a higher height, I can't seem to see the screen too well. It gets too whited out, and because it is a TFT screen, so that's the main problem. Initially I said that this wouldn't be a concern. It's starting to become more of a concern to me. I wish this was an IPS screen. I really don't know why they didn't make it that way. So the latch doesn't go too far back. If it did, this wouldn't be as much of a problem. Like, I'd be able to see it well, since I'm viewing it at a higher height and the table is like down here. Well, I'm standing here, of course, but normally when I'm watching it or when I'm viewing it at a low table, or I have it set at a table that's like low in height, it's hard for me to see this. So that's a deal breaker right there in my opinion. But overall, RCA has been disappointing to me in the sense that they haven't really made too many updates here. Compared to a few years ago, the only real minor updates was just updating it to a newer version of Android and having 1 more gig of RAM, versus a few years ago it just had 1 gig of RAM, and it was running Android 6 or 7, I can't remember. And I'm talking about the RCA Galileo Pro, because this is much similar, pretty much the same as the RCA Galileo, just an updated version. And with these specs, these updated specs, slightly updated, it runs okay. You know, some games were fine to play. I even tried the 64 here, Nintendo 64 emulator, because someone was asking me to test out these emulators. Had to cut the video off there because there was a train coming by and you couldn't hear me. But with this Nintendo 64 game, or emulator, it seems to be running fine. I get around 30 frames. It does drop every once in a while, like right there. Man, it's really dropping for some reason. I've never seen it that low before. So, this might be playable to some people, or a lot of people. But what I'm trying to say is that with these low-end updates or slight updates, it just makes it usable for the time being. Like for this year, it's going to be fine, but who knows how well it's going to perform in the next 2 years. You know, I'm saying if you get this tablet and you use it for the next 2 years or so, because on the RCA Galileo video, people now are saying that it doesn't run well, it's an awful tablet, worst tablet they've ever used. But for the time, it was alright, which was 4 years ago, because the specs were, again, decent. I guess things weren't as demanding, and apps might be a little more demanding in specs. You might need higher end specs for the apps you need to use for today. And just to really show you quickly, these were my settings for the Nintendo 64 emulator. I'm not going to try any other emulators. I was trying to look at I was looking at the Recast emulator for Dreamcast, but I was having too much trouble trying to set that up, so I'm not going to waste my time. But anyways, that's beside the point. Emulators are not the point here. Overall, RCA has just been disappointing with these slight minor updates. I love the ONN tablet that Walmart's coming out with these days. I definitely recommend checking that out because it goes for $129 at the time of this video. I'll have links down below. One last thing I forgot to mention is battery life is just awful on here. I got 4 hours of on-screen time straight, about 4 hours, 3 hours 41 minutes, and this was based on a video test. I just had a video running, I think it was like an 8-hour video. It only ran for that long. I had the brightness set to around 50 to 60% because you're probably going to need it around this much since it doesn't get too bright during the daytime. During the nighttime it might be fine, but yeah, so that's how much you get. And then with regular usage, it's about 3 hours and 30 minutes. The performance or the battery is just bad overall. That's just another reason why I can't recommend this. Overall, just a disappointing tablet. I'm going to return this. I'm hoping to check out some more 2-in-1s in the near future, so subscribe for more.